with how you got me in trouble, Phil Narcosis. You meanie you. Because I'm blaming you. Because, a couple weeks ago...
Tell me what happened.
We got this email from a guy named Jeff who basically took me to task and said, hey, you had this guy on who just dove in California, and all you guys did was whine about how cold it was, and you'd never go again. You guys suck. Okay, maybe I'm paraphrasing just a tad there, Phil. But he took us to task for it, and I read his email back on the air, and I said, look, we've talked about cold water diving. I love all types of diving, and am I a little bit of a warm water wuss? Absolutely.
It was full disclosure. I mean, I admitted I'm a warm water wuss just like you. So, I'm looking through my logbook. I was in the Channel Islands and Catalina Island, in Southern California. Took 2 different liveaboards there. And the water, I'm looking at the water temperature, 61 degrees.
Right.
Now, not only did I have a 7 mil, but then I had a 3 mil, what do you call that, like a bib?
Okay.
With a hood on it, mm-hmm. And then my gloves were useless, so I had to rent 5 mil gloves.
Right.
And and then the visibility was 15 feet. But you know what? I had a great time, and it was a blast. And meeting people who are also diving on the liveaboard, and you make friends that way. And guess what we talked about, Greg?
Where? Well, what's that?
We talked about going to warm water places to dive.
Well, yeah, okay, and I understand that. That's what I was trying to talk about then. We weren't knocking the diving in California. I think you made a comment that you weren't impressed with the viz, and that varies day to day, and no matter where you are, but you can dive locally, and I've never said don't dive locally. You have to dive locally, but for a warm water wuss like myself, and you belong to that club as well.
I'm in that club.
Do we prefer higher visibility and warmer water and no wetsuits at all? Hell yeah, of course we do. But
we love diving.
But we love
diving. And the kelp forest was definitely, you got to check the kelp forest off the box. Those were awesome.
Yeah.
And you see things you don't see. You see the underwater mountain and rock formations that were established millions, if not 100 million years ago. So there's a lot going on there. We saw rays, we saw eagle rays, I saw a small octopus, actually eels, and even some clown and something that looked like an anemone fish, but it wasn't.
What, like Garibaldi fish, the bright orange ones?
That was it.
Yeah, the Garibaldis, absolutely. I'm very familiar with the California diving and the critters they have, the sea lions, seals, whatever. And it's cool. I've done it. I used a heated rash guard to deal with the colder water under a 5 mil wetsuit, and I was fine. That was good. So it is about having the proper equipment. It is about the diving that you have available to you locally, and you should do that. You really don't have any other choice unless you're filthy rich like Phil Narcosis and just travel the world at a drop of a bucket and go. But Jeff, I explained my feeling about it, and since then, a lot more people have emailed us and said, yes, we understand what you're saying, Greg. Yeah, but cold water diving is good. Don't write it off. I've never written it off. I've just said, in my list or my bucket list of dive sites and diving places to go, the cold water sites have a tendency to filter down the list. Just for me personally, I'm not knocking it.
Is it a fair statement that Scuba Radio will probably not do one of its trips in the Channel Islands of California?
No, that's not true at all. Because I would absolutely love that. I love.
Send me a postcard, Greg. No,
the Channel Islands, our buddies out there in Santa Barbara, Force Fins and stuff. Yeah. They've invited me out there. We've, it's logistics more than anything else. But Catalina Island, off the coast, right off of Long Beach or whatever, in L.A. area. I mean, that is a cool place. I definitely want to go there.
It's the headquarters of Aqualung. So there's obviously a important and large dive culture out there.
Absolutely. Just for the record, the warm water wuss references, I belong to that club. Phil belongs to that club. We're not knocking cold water diving, and if we are, blame Phil, not me. Okay?
I'll take the blame for it.
And Cassandra's backed me up this week on it, and she made a few comments about the same thing and pretty much reiterated what I was saying last week with John Hott, who was telling us about some of the lobster diving that they have in California and some of the videos that we steered some people towards. But that basically is, do we love going to the Caribbean and having, air air clear visibility and warm
Gin
water
clear.
and no wetsuits necessary, that kind of course we do. But, you don't want to overlook what you have locally, and it may be colder. The vis may not be as good. But, hey, look, any day underwater is better than a day at the office or just on the
Absolutely.
surface.